Hey everybody, welcome back to 13 Rings and NFC East podcast. I'm your host Lucas with Mal, Maurice, and Earl, and we are recording after week 8 of the NFL season. And before we get into our predictions that we made during the preseason for week 8, I just want to remind our listeners that whatever platform you're listening to us on, make sure that you like, comment, subscribe. Helps grow our podcast and helps us continue to give you great content. That being said, let's get into the predictions, because this was, no interconference matchup. Each one of us played at a different time slot this week. It was a pretty good one. But let's get into it, okay? So, with the Dallas Cowboys, 3 of us were predicting a loss for the Cowboys. 1 predicted a win. Now, I teased this last week. Does anybody remember me doing that? And who do you guys think predicted the win?
I think it was me.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
You would all be wrong. It's actually Maurice that predicted the win for the Cowboys.
Really? I did?
Really. True facts here. So,
I mean, I wasn't far off, though. I mean,
it was
they
close.
had some injuries.
I'll get it. Yeah, the football guy. Well, I'll talk about it.
We'll get into it. You'll have your time to shine, my man. Don't worry about it. So, then we have the one that we have up here is the New York Giants. We won 50-50 on that. Mal and Maurice predicted a loss. Me and Earl predicted a win. I was really hoping you beat them Pittsburgh Steelers. I was one time I was rooting for the Giants.
Had every opportunity to.
Every opportunity to. We'll definitely get into that. Commanders, we also went halfsies on that. Me and Earl predicted a win. Mal and Maurice predicted a loss. And for the Philadelphia Eagles, I predicted the loss, and the rest of you guys predicted a win. So kudos to you guys. And I just want to let our listeners know that I am playing injured. I was on injured reserve prior to this podcast. Got diagnosed with strep throat today. So if I am struggling, I do apologize. If I sound congested, it is because I am, in fact, congested. That being said, I think, Maurice, you are the first one up today.
Yes, I am. And let's start with a win, because the Philadelphia Eagles went to Cleveland and, we went to Cincinnati. Still Ohio. They went to Ohio and got a W against the Cincinnati Bengals, 37-17. This was probably our best win on both sides of the football, best win of the season, I would say. I really don't have any complaints about anything. The defense started off a little sluggish, but Vic Fangio on the defense made adjustments, specifically at halftime, and they did the job. I mean, not really much to complain about. This is probably also Jalen Hurts' best game of the season. 16 for 20, 236 yards, 1 touchdown. Once again, no turnovers. They do well when the quarterback Jalen Hurts doesn't turn the ball over. Besides that, Saquon Barkley, 22 carries for 108 yards. Devontae Smith, 6 receptions, 85 yards, and the touchdown. A gorgeous throw and catch by Jalen Hurts to Devontae Smith. Excuse me. Devontae, for some reason, has a knack for making really spectacular catches. So kudos to him. AJ had a good game. Grant Calcaterra had a good game, backup tight end, replacing Dallas Goedert. The defense was good. Now they only have 1 sack. Actually 2 half sacks, but it equal 1 sack. But overall, though, they really did a good job in shutting down Joe Burrow. They didn't have T. Higgins, but they still shut down Jamar Chase. Their tight end Gesicki kind of went off a little bit, but they slowed them down once the Eagles got going, and their offense is starting to come around. I must say, still a little sketchy on some of the play calling, but overall, it seems like they're starting to gel on offense. This was not a really bad team that they went and beat Sunday. This is a really competitive. I would say competitive. The Bengals are 3-5 right now, but they're still competitive and they do have some talent. So this was a really good win. Joe Burrow, he had 1 touchdown, one interception. But, I mean, it really didn't matter. A lot of that was after the fact when they were trying to catch up. Not really anything running-wise. Nothing really receiving. Jamar Chase did have one touchdown. But overall, this was a really good win for the Philadelphia Eagles. The competition coming up gets a little bit tougher after next week's game. We'll talk about that at the end. But right now, my team is starting to gel, and it looks like that bye week came at the right time for the Philadelphia Eagles, even though I thought it was early, but it's coming at the right time. Everything is coming together. The coaching staff is on the same level, is connecting with the players, and it's looking good on the football field. I'll say that. So, what went right is pretty much everything, and specifically the offense. The offense went right. Not anything that really went wrong.
Hey, Maurice.
Yep.
Do you mind if I chime in real quick? Because I've noticed a trend.
Mm-hmm.
So before the bye week, Jalen Hurts attempted at least 30 passes per game.
Mm-hmm.
Since the bye week, he attempted 25, 14, and 20. With Jalen Hurts, less is more. You do not want him throwing the ball crazy amount of times.
And I think that's also a product of realizing your running back is actually really, really good.
Yeah.
In Saquon Barkley. He had 22 carries.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and last week he had one of the breakout games of his career against his former team. So they realize who they have in the backfield, and they're utilizing it.
Yeah.
So you might be right too. Less is more with Jalen.
And it just feels like they're using him more as a deep threat, because he had 2 super long passes before the bye week, 61 and 67. But he's had a consistent above 40 yards passing for a long in the last 3 games. So his QBR is also a lot better. It's
well, like I said, the offense is starting to gel, and they kind of realizing now, hey, Saquon, let him start the pace, let him get going, and then from there everything opens up down the field. You got 2 great receivers. It only takes 1 or 2 deep passes like that to really break open a game. And like I said, it only took 1. That was the Devontae Smith one. That really broke open the game for them. Before I end, I just want to shout out Cooper DeJean because he had a great fourth down stop in Jamar Chase in the open field. Burrow threw the ball out to the flat, and Jamar Chase basically had less than 2 yards to go, and he made a great tackle. That was also a game-changing moment for the Eagles as well. So I just want to shout him out. Player of the game. I'll go Jalen Hurts. He didn't hurt us at all. He had a 95 QBR. He had a really good game. Overall, I thought it was a great team win, but if I had to give one award to one player, and that player of the game would be Jalen Hurts. So,
look, Jalen Hurts had the best QBR of the week among any quarterbacks in the division. Very good. Mm-hmm. You can check out those stats on any of our social medias. Yeah, look, I've already said what I wanted to say, so I don't have anything. Earl, Mal, do you want to add on before we move on?
I was just going to say that Maurice kind of literally put it all out there. I kind of agree with everything that he said. The Eagles look like they're finally starting to mesh together well. It took some time, but it was bound to happen. They have a lot of talent on that team. Bengals, honestly, I think that they're beginning to gel a little more too. I think that it all really depends on Burrow and how he performs. So if you lock him down, you're in a good spot. Overall, good win for your team, Maurice.
Thank you. You got anything, Earl?
Yeah, I was probably just going to touch base and just see how well your defense played. I know you got a lot of young guys in the secondary and some young guys, especially in the front. But having that bye week, it definitely showed what y'all are capable of with just taking that time to kind of be coherent, be on the same page. It's something that's really solid that whenever a team can do that, especially with young talent, it definitely shows that they understand what Fangio is bringing. They understand what the defense is bringing. And then when everybody's on the same page, nobody can stop y'all but yourselves. So that was a good win where the Bengals shot themselves in the foot. Y'all capitalized on that, and y'all pounced on them. So I say it is a great win for you guys.
Yeah, the defense is starting to come around, and it created some turnovers too. The Kobe Dean had a fumble recovery, and C.J. Gardner-Johnson had a game, not a game-changing, but a momentum-changing interception. So, yeah, I really was starting to like the defense. Now, a week from now, they can have a bad game, and I could come down here and roast them. But I will say that I do see that Vic Fangio makes adjustments. So if he can continue to make adjustments, I think we'll always be in a game. I will say that.
Yeah, I agree with that. And for that, it's really going to show what you guys can definitely do, especially when it gets closer to postseason time. Because if y'all can keep stacking win after win, and then you might be able to at least claim the division. It's not far off. And basically, it's up in the air between two teams at the moment, unless a third team decides to rise. But, yeah, kudos to what the Eagles can do. And, yeah, just give credit where it is. Y'all are showing what y'all can do. And I just got to see more of what Sirianni and Kellen Moore, see how they can continue to be better going forward through the season. But so far from what I've seen, especially with Jalen Hurts going off and stuff, it really shows that if you got a good running game, your quarterback is more comfortable. So it looked like he was very comfortable in this game.
Yep. All right, so with that said, let's go to Lucas. The game of the week in NFC East, right?
Prime time wise, no. But in terms of finish, I think it's fair to say that this will probably go down as one of the greatest, if not the greatest, regular season play in franchise history. Ooh. In terms of the Hail Mary. Ooh. For those that have not seen any highlights the last couple of days, let me just paint a picture for you real quick. Commanders were down with 6 seconds left by, I believe it was, 3 points, and at the 50-yard line-ish. I can't remember the exact time.
Six seconds.
Yeah, 6 seconds.
It was about around the 45.
Yeah, it was a long ways away. And Jayden Daniels was able to buy about 10 seconds of time, running around the pocket, and launched a very deep ball that got deflected right into the hands of Noah Brown for a game-winning touchdown. And, it's crazy because the Bears cornerback, I don't know his first name, but last name is Stevenson, was talking... was it Tyreek? Okay, well, anyway, Mr. Stevenson was talking smack to the fans, and he didn't even know the play had started. So, I'm surprised they didn't suspend him for a game, if I'm being completely honest. So, but with that being said, we are at the halfway point. And I think for the most part that I have been rather reserved, rather trying not to overreact to a win here or a win there. But the Bears had a record of 4-2 entering this game. They were live in the NFC North and very live for a playoff spot, right? Caleb Williams, not, first overall pick. Played horribly for the first 3 quarters. Our defense kind of gave way a little bit during the fourth. But, overall, he's not a bad quarterback. He's going to have a good future. Hopefully, we'll see. This was a statement game, not only for a Rookie of the Year, but I think thanks to that play and just overall Jayden's play throughout the season has to put him in the MVP category. Maybe not maybe not the winner, but definitely in the conversation. And I say that to say this. Remember when y'all told me that I was crazy to say that Jayden Daniels might in the best case scenario, be the second best quarterback in the division during this summer? Remember when you all said that?
Me and Earl said that, yes.
Yep. So, I just want you guys to eat your crow on that. Because right now, technically, he has the best QBR in the division. He has a 72.7 QBR. He has 7 passing touchdowns to 2 interceptions, not counting the rushing touchdowns, which he does have some of those too. The closest person is Jalen Hurts. And kudos to Jalen Hurts. He brought his QBR up past the bye week because it was almost in the 50s a couple times. But he has a 69 QBR. Dak Prescott has a 47 QBR, 10 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Jalen Hurts has 8 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. And Daniel Jones has a 44 QBR with 6 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Now, I will say this. Daniels also has the second most yards in the whole entire division, only trailing Dak Prescott in terms of passing yards. So keep that in mind too. So, I'm just saying that the conversation for him not only being the second best, having this, I won't say that is the second best, but having the second best season, arguably the best season of the quarterbacks in the NFC division, I think I've been validated on that thus far this season. Okay? And I'm trying not to be like rub it in y'all's face because I'm not trying to, but I'm just trying to make a point here.
Wait a minute. So are you saying, and I want you to say this clearly because I'm definitely going to use this for a clip.
Absolutely.
Is Jayden Daniels better than Dak Prescott?
I will say that Jayden Daniels is having a much better season than Dak Prescott is having right now.
Is Jayden Daniels better than Jalen Hurts?
He is having a better season, not only as a passer, but as a rusher, than Jalen Hurts. And statistically wise, yes.
Right,
and we just talked about with Hurts, less is more. Daniels is doing more than Hurts is. Okay? He has him outpassed by 200 yards easily. He has one less interception. And his run game is better. Jalen Hurts is only averaging 3.5 yards a carry. Now, Daniels is averaging over 5 yards a carry.
Now, to be fair, though, the Eagles had a bye. So the yardage that could be...
The yardage is, okay, slightly skewed. Okay, yeah. But even without the bye, I think Jayden would still be leading.
All right, stand on business, Lucas.
I'm standing on my business. Look, and I'm saying as of now, like Earl's least favorite commentator would say, it's fluid because it's during the season. But it's fluid. Right now, Jayden Daniels is having the best season statistically of any quarterback in the division.
I got one more question before you continue.
Okay.
Would you be saying this if Noah Brown didn't catch that Hail Mary?
He would not.
Okay.
Probably not. Probably not. Because that Hail Mary did get him over 300 yards that game and a touchdown. But I will say that I think the conversation would be there. Right now I can definitively say he's having a statistically better season. But even without that Hail Mary, the conversation would be there to have. And it would be more of a debate at that point.
You about done, Lucas?
No. I haven't even gotten to the game. I'm just talking about Jalen Hurts. Also, I got to call out Mal on this one. Mal had the Commanders ranked last in the division on the preseason predictions. She also had Jayden Daniels ranked 30th on her QBR, on her QB rankings.
Ooh, Lucas got all the receipts.
I got all the receipts.
Dude, it was literally preseason. You guys were hot trash last year, and the kid was a rookie quarterback. I wasn't putting him above established people.
But you couldn't put him above Daniel Jones?
No, dude, because Daniel Jones has been in the league for 6 years. I didn't know.
And he's been hot garbage for about 5 of those.
That's fair, but I don't put rookie QBs over people who have already played in the NFL. It's just not what I do.
Well, regardless, it's not a great look right now. But that's not the only bad look that the Giants have. So, I'll get to them, though. Anyway, when it's your turn, Mal. So now that I got all the receipts out, and you guys just putting them out there right now, and like I said, if I end up being wrong by the end of the season, I will definitely eat my crow. But until then, I just wanted to put the receipts out there. That being said, let's talk about the actual game here now, okay? So, the Commanders won 18-15. And it was a close game. The Commanders almost won a game again without scoring a touchdown and only field goals. Second time almost happening this season, okay? happened first against the Giants. We play next week, Mal. We're coming for y'all. But, look, Jayden, even without the Hail Mary, had a pretty good game. Only had 2 sacks. Didn't have a passing or rushing touchdown, but was fairly efficient. Had over close to 300 yards before that pass. He was doing good. The running game was okay. Wide receivers, Terry McLaurin. Shout out to Terry. He's less than 100 yards behind CD for the most in the division, by the way. Shout out to Terry on that. Absolutely. Zach Ertz, his career has been revitalized playing in DC. Great. Glad. Maurice, do you miss him at all?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that he's here. And then on top of that, the defense. We held them to 0 points until the fourth quarter. And granted, our run defense is weak. I knew that. So Swift got off a big run, and I'm not going to act like Swift can't be a top 10 running back in the league when he actually gets the ball. And the second touchdown, that was just no, that was not okay. But, I digress. And Johnny Newton looks great defensively. He's been doing good. Quan Martin stepped up this game. Frankie Louvu, Bobby Wagner. Benjamin St. Juste made some really good plays. Shout out to him. Johnny Newton getting that fumble recovery. I honestly thought it was a touchdown for a second. I got really excited. But it wasn't, and that's okay, though. Like I said, the defense held up pretty good, all things considering. Our offense, we should have had at least 25 to 30 points. We left a few plays up on the field because of stupid holding penalties or ineligible receiver downfield or just drop passes. It was annoying. But that's just part of the growing pains of having a rookie QB. And this was not, we had like a C+ offensive game until that Hail Mary, if that. So, offensively, we needed work. Defensively, I think we did pretty good holding them to 15 points. So that's just my thoughts. All right. I'll give my player of the game, of course, is Jayden Daniels, because that's just a miracle play. Not very many quarterbacks can buy that much time and throw the ball that deep. So kudos to him. I give the floor to you.
I'll go last.
Let me go last.
All right, so I'll go first to break the ice. So, all right, this is what I think about the Commanders in general at this point in the season. Is Jayden Daniels a fantastic rookie quarterback? Yes. I will 100% say that, and I'm happy for him. I really liked him coming out of college, and I love the support that neighbors and him give to each other. It's fantastic, and you really want nothing but good things for him because he really is just a good kid, and he's very talented. He deserves all of the success he's getting. Now, here's what worries me about the Commanders. Record looks really nice.
Yeah.
In the end, yes, Chicago has looked good this year, but they are also in a spot where they have poor management. The decision for them to rush that O-lineman in what was that, man?
No, their coaching is horrendous. They should have fired their head coach when they drafted Caleb Williams.
It's just horrendous. And the thing with the Commanders is that I worry when you guys play teams. So, listen, the Ravens, yeah, they're a really good team offensively, but defensively, they're not that good this year. We saw that against the Cleveland Browns. Their defense is just bad, especially when they miss one or two pieces in the secondary. That whole Ravens defense just collapses, and I just don't know. I don't know it, and it's a week-to-week thing. Luckily, Lamar's playing like an animal this year, so they're able to score like 40, 50 points a game. That's the only thing that's really saving them because this Cleveland Browns game was just a different story for them. The thing with the Commanders is I get nervous for them to run into teams like Philly, like Detroit. Yeah, you're not going to play Detroit this year, but if you're talking about playoffs, I mean, we have to be because you're 6-2 now. So you're in contention to win the division. You're in contention to go to the playoffs. You know, so we're talking about that. When I see Jayden Daniels play a good defense, it's not the total domination that he's putting up against like other teams. That's the one thing I worry about with the Commanders. It's going good. The team is gelling. Dan Quinn as a head coach was great. The ownership change was great. The way they're rebuilding is way quicker than any of us would have ever expected because I would have never seen the Commanders at 6-2 right now. What I do worry about is them getting and playing that tough competition and y'all being brought back to kind of where the reality is. That's what I worry about. I don't know. We'll see how time goes on as the team progresses. But that Hail Mary, I don't know who taught the Bears to not bat down the ball, because that was just a terrible defensive play. And then, you go yap your gums to the fans and then you do that. That guy, he's going to get flamed for that all season. It all came down to poor mistakes by the Bears for the Commanders to win that game. And listen, a win's a win. A dub's a dub. But if we're talking about playoffs and we're talking about moving forward, because in the end, the goal is to always win the Super Bowl, win playoff games, especially the Commanders. You guys, when was the last time, Lucas?
2005.
Yeah, it's been almost 20 years. So I'm sure Commanders fans want to win a playoff game. I'm just worried when they get out of the... I'll be more inclined after you guys play Philadelphia, because Philadelphia is finally gelling with their defense and their offense. So I think they'll be your next hardest competition.
I will also say this. At this point of the season, we are playing with house money. We've already eclipsed our win total from last year. So look, the expectations for us, I still, even though we're top of the division, I think are still relatively low compared to where they were at the beginning of the season. Like, if we get to the playoffs, awesome. If we win a playoff game, awesome. But if we lose a playoff game, so be it. Look, we have a rookie quarterback, a team that's in the very beginnings of a rebuild, or restructure at least. The expectations for us to win will not be until next year. But I understand what you're saying, and you're not wrong. But
you're a different Commander fan, Lucas. I think your fan base expects more, and I can't blame them.
Yeah, no. I know there were people that we did chats with on Twitter, the spaces with that I joined during the summer. They like, oh yeah, we should get 10 wins, 11 wins, have that type of faith. I'm like, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
That faith isn't far off, though, Lucas.
It's not faith. It's not far off now. But like I said, there are fans out there that think that we're second in the NFC now. I don't think of us as title favorites or contenders. I think that we are just having a very good season with a rookie quarterback and a team that still needs a lot more. This is not our best foot. We are having a great season now, but we still need to rebuild a lot more. We have the most cap space going into next offseason, and we have a lot more picks than we did last year. So the job is far from done. And like I said, while I am happy that we are first in the division and I put out all those receipts, at the end of the day, we are playing with house money. So if we fall flat on our face, not the end of the world. At least in my book.
Maurice, Earl, who wants to go next?
All right, I'll leave it. I'll leave the good stuff for Earl. I'm not gonna really come at you about your record. I mean, your record is your record.
Okay.
2 weeks from now is going to be a big game.
Absolutely.
Us Commanders. So we'll wait for that. What I will do is I'll talk about the game itself.
Okay.
And just the poor coaching. Now, this one is a case of coaching more so than the players. Just
you're talking about the Bears, I'm assuming.
Yeah, the Bears. Yeah,
okay.
The Bears.
I was about to say Dan Quinn did not do a bad job.
No. First of all, why would you hand the ball off to a lineman in that situation at the goal line? I don't understand. It might be a fireable offense. And then the coach comes out after the game and says, well, on that Hail Mary play, the down before, that 15 yards didn't matter. Of course it mattered, because you do a 60-yard pass. If you do a 75-yard pass, maybe he doesn't get to the end zone. But anyway, talking about the Hail Mary itself, I've always been a proponent of 75. If you look at the play, they rush 4. But really, they only rushed 3, because for some strange reason, the linebacker was spying Jayden Daniels.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
I don't know why. Why are you spying in that situation? I don't get it. But anyway, basically they sent 3. You should have did what the Lions did last week against the Minnesota Vikings, when they just basically sent 5 and they blitzed them, basically, to get the ball out so he doesn't even have time to throw the ball that far. But all that said, the Hail Mary will always be a fluky play, and I'm not downgrading the play itself or, the catch and the win. But a Hail Mary is kind of fluky. I mean, a lot of things have to go right for it to happen. So, poor job on that cornerback for not knocking the ball down instead of tipping it up in the air. A lot of things had to go right there. It went right for you guys. Kudos. A win is a win. I've always said a win is a win.
The football gods gave us favor.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. In this case, on that one specific night. But I watching that game, I'm like, okay, this was going to be a bad loss for the Commanders. They let the Bears team come back because the Commanders were dominating pretty much the whole game.
No, that's how I was getting ready to click that, Commanders loss button. And then it didn't happen. No, if we would have lost, it would have been a bad loss. And I would have blamed probably the offense because, the defense could only hold them for so long.
Yeah, I mean, hey, kudos to you guys. I'm not gonna try to rain on your parade. It was a good win. Let's see if you can capitalize on this and keep the momentum going into next week. Earl, what you got?
Yeah, a win is a win. I give that to Lucas on that guard. Him talking about keeping receipts, we're going to see how well if them receipts hold or they're going to bounce and burn. The situation I have with the game, the Chicago Bears, honestly, they lost this game in the first half. Some of the dumb decisions that they decided to do where you go on fourth down, I took this as a battle of number 1 and number 2 of the quarterbacks in the NFL draft. I feel like Caleb Williams was trying to show and stunt on Jayden Daniels, and it smacked him in the face. The biggest thing that I take from that is instead of playing a team game, it looked like he was trying to play hero ball, and whatever the coach decided to do as a whole ended up backfiring timefold. I really think they could have hung with this this football team. But at the same time...
You won't say it, will you?
I will not say it, no matter if I'm angry, happy, sad, whatever it is, until they do their own thing. But back to what I was saying, they basically gave the game to the football wizard kids, and they took advantage of it. The football wizard kids basically almost lost this game. If one thing that I learned playing football is that I played linebacker, I played defensive end. One thing that I really enjoyed most, even after linebacker, was playing slot corner and safety. I never, ever took my eye off the ball. I learned to knock the ball down. If you can't go for the pick, knock it away from anybody catching it. And the corner that was talking to the crowd, he made one of the most boneheaded decisions ever, trying to chant to the fans. And then next thing you know, late to the play, ball tips up, goes to Noah Brown. He scores the touchdown and is cemented himself as a Hail Mary play. Lucas, don't forget who originated the Hail Mary in the first place. The one other thing that I have with your statement.
Hey, Earl, quick question. The Mr. Stevens, is he the second most hated Chicago person ever now in Chicago sports history after that Cubs guy?
I didn't even know who he was from the start in the first place.
But do you think now he's going to be hated in Chicago like that one guy that caught the ball at the Chicago Cubs game?
You talking about Bartman?
Yeah,
his rep is tarnished. Same as the dude from the baseball. Let me get back to my point, Lucas. The situation that I have with the game is that I saw a number 1 overall pick throw a game compared to a guy who was the number 2 overall pick in the draft. And it showed when a team played with their quarterback while the other didn't. And the decision to try to give the ball to a lineman at that point, you pretty much tarnished a play that the Bears ran in the Super Bowl with William Refrigerator Perry. You tarnished that. But hey, Washington capitalized on it. I get that. But I'm going to leave at this. Lucas, enjoy the win that you have. You and your Washington fans, enjoy it. Gloat about it. Enjoy the magical ride with the glass slipper while it's here. Be careful, because at the end of the season, beware of turning into a pumpkin by midnight. And I'm going to leave it this saying, don't let it go to your head now. It's already to your head, bro. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. No, look. We're already week 8 into the season. It's the best way to put it is, it doesn't matter how you start. It shows when you finish. So we'll see if you finish at the top.
So let me ask you guys 2 questions here, and then we'll go on to the next game. First question: did Jayden Daniels cement himself as the Rookie of the Year with this game?
Yes.
Yeah, he did.
No, I already think he had it.
He already had it, but the situation of MVP, that's a slight reach.
It might be a slight reach, but he's in the conversation.
You can put him in the conversation. He's got to put a little more numbers up in order to do it. Yeah. Honestly, I believe that Lamar Jackson, even after what he did in Cleveland, I think he's kind of the leader.
I think Derrick Henry should get it. I think Derrick Henry might hit 2,000 yards this season.
Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen are having monster seasons.
But Derrick Henry. Anyway, we're getting off track.
I mean, Derrick Henry, like Chris Johnson hit 2,000 and he wasn't MVP focused.
Chris Johnson should have been. Anyway, point being, the second question here is, you guys talk about, and Earl talked about, glass slipper turning back into a pumpkin. What would you guys think should be a successful end to the Commander season? Where does it end and how it ends? Like, how would you define it as successful and not as like, oh, it's a pipe dream type deal?
They got to secure all their division wins.
So they have to go
6-0
in the division.
Yep.
No playoffs. Nothing in the playoffs. They just got to win all the divisional games.
I think winning at least 5 of their division games will be the determination factor.
So you think that 5 divisional wins is a successful season for the Commanders. Okay, Mal, what about you?
I would say winning the NFC East.
Winning the NFC East, okay. Maurice.
I would say NFC East as well, because that guarantees a playoff spot.
So we're not even talking about playoffs win. You guys just think that as long as we maintain and win the NFC East, that is a successful season.
Yeah, secure the divisional wins, and boom, definitely. You got the division.
Okay, so so if we do that, then you guys will okay, gotcha. Good. I want to keep that in mental. That's a new receipt there. I got to keep it, because if I don't pay up to it, then I will own it. But until then, and if they don't pay up to it, I will own it. But I just wanted to make sure, understand where you guys thought a successful season for them was. Okay, so
I get it. I've seen the success of it beforehand. It's nothing new.
Okay, so that being said, I believe Earl, your game's up next.
Yes. All right, here we go. The Dallas Cowboys renewed the rivalry of the Dallas and San Francisco saga. It's to the point now, the record between the Niners and the Cowboys, the Niners are leading 21-19-1. One rivalry where I think this matchup is something of just greatness, even before we were born. And me growing up being a Cowboys fan to seeing playing against the Niners. It's a go-to. It's one of those matchups that I truly enjoy. Sometimes I believe it's more of a rivalry than some of the teams in the division. And I say that respectfully without trying to hurt nobody. But this game to me is like very personal, because the last couple of years I've seen the Cowboys act a fool and just pretty much get bullied by a team where I feel like they can match up with these guys. And it just shows that Dallas are front runners. And what I saw from this game is that I saw incompetence from a head coach who yet again decided to shrivel up in the biggest moment, where it hurt your star quarterback as well as your star receiver and your team, even though you're battling injuries on defense. You pretty much saw just a crumble on what started to become something just from a playoff special teams to ignite a fight within your team. They lost the game 30-24. It was a start where I believe that they could have Lord, tongue tied. Edit this out, Lucas. But
I got you.
They were hanging in this game with the Niners early. It was to the point it was a low-scoring game going into halftime. The best that I've seen this team play in the first half, because honestly, I think they were more of a second-half team. But seeing what they were able to do in the first half, it showed what I believe that they could have done if they would have stayed on this course. I was really disappointed at the end of this game because I come to the realization, and I had a feeling about this, and I was trying to fight it. The Dallas Cowboys is not a good team. And even with the injuries, they're not a good team right now. And for it, I've come to terms with it. The only thing you have to do now is try to fix it. Resurrect what your team is, but revamp it. But right now, you're not a good team at all. And maybe just with the football guys, they were not kind to us. We got 6 injuries on defense. Our number 2 receiver is out as well. And then on top of that, you really don't have a run game at all to help your quarterback knowing that he needs it. What went wrong in this game? Mike McCarthy. I've been trying to give Mike McCarthy so much credit in what he was able to do to revamp Dak's career, but it just comes to the terms. Dak needs a run game. And with him having a pass offense, I'm seeing shades of the Packers on the downfall of McCarthy's tenure in Green Bay. And it's not looking good. There's a lot of blame going to Dak on what he's able to do. They put so much pressure on this dude that on the offensive side, you got rookies, basically a rookie tackle. You got a center who's a rookie, not playing bad, by the way, but it's an accelerated clock in his head to the point that when he drops back, he's already looking like, okay, his step meter is off because either Terrence Steele is getting beat or Tyler Guyton is getting beat, and it's just not helping. And I really believe they need to fire their offensive line coach, Mike Solari. They should have kept Joe Philbin because he had this line working to a T. Even with the rookies, I think this would have been a nice tandem. I blame Mike McCarthy because he lied to me, he lied to the content creators, and he lied to the fans of Dallas. Where you wanted to go 30 for 30 when it came to running the rock. You failed to do that. All you want to do is show up your passing. I'm starting to see more of Kellen Moore. I see where Kellen Moore was. It wasn't that he was having growth within the team. He just wanted to pass the ball. And then you have a head coach that basically passes the ball as well. And I'm just like, it's not going to help your team. I'm sick of the finesse team. All the success that Dallas has had over years after years was establishing a run game, a run dominance game, having one of the best linemen, the Great Wall of Dallas, where they ran the football. They secured 3 championship rings. And some Nimrod gonna tell the Joneses, yeah, passing is the new wave. And I'm looking at all these other teams running the ball, stopping the run, while Dallas is still passing, being a finesse team. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it. I just want the team to be boring again on offense, running the football, because that's going to open up a lot with the pass. But running is the main focal point. You got guys on the line who wants to bully people. They can't do that when they're in a pass blocking stance. It hurts the team. And I put the blame on Stephen Jones because I know Jerry Jones is just the mascot. Stephen Jones has been running this team as a corporate business instead of a football team. And it shows. They worrying about a suit, button, and tie instead of putting on shoulder pads and putting on a jersey and a helmet and cracking skulls. I'm tired of just seeing just the meddling of the Joneses, especially Stephen Jones. He doesn't know anything about football. And that's what's hurting this team. I really believe if Jerry wanted to take control again, no doubt in my mind, I think he would bring guys in here to help the team, but he's just trying to cover for his son, and it's not working. And everybody wants to say, Jerry Jones stepped down as the GM. Yeah, that's cool. Okay. But you also got to know when Jerry's gone, Stephen Jones is going to take over. Do y'all really want that on your conscience? You might as well have Jerry sell the team and be in a better stance to keep his son from fully running this team, because I don't think anybody's ready to handle that and endure that. What went right in this game? Having the run game early in the first half. I think Ezekiel Elliott would have continued to get better because he had 10 touches for 35 yards. He had 1 touchdown. His longest run was 11. It seemed like the more and more he got the touches, the more and more it looked like he was trying to get stronger and better. But I'm just frustrated that Mike McCarthy got away from the run game because the game was still winnable. And overall, with what I saw from the whole situation where Dalvin Cook got elevated, my biggest question is, what happened to Rico Dowdle hours before the game? They said he was down sick, but if that man was so sick, why was he out there signing autographs? And I believe, and I came to this assumption that everybody was talking about bringing in Dalvin Cook, and they wanted to get rid of Zeke, but the Joneses kept Zeke, and then Rico was the scapegoat. So that showcase for Dalvin Cook, I hope y'all enjoyed it, because that might be the last time you see it. Because Dalvin Cook, all he was a lighter version of Zeke. Really didn't have much ability from that. But I believe if they would have continued to run the ball, I think it would have been better for the team as a whole, because it would have established physicality and dominance. My player of the game, I'm going to say it's CeeDee Lamb. I think this was the first time I saw CeeDee Lamb go off on the Niners. He had over 146 yards and 2 touchdowns. About time. It seemed like him and Dak were on the same page, but it was just too late. So my player of the game is CeeDee Lamb. I'm just tired of what I'm seeing from this team as a whole. They got Atlanta coming up, and Atlanta's got a good team. Oh, man, I forgot. Mike Zimmer. He did whatever he could, especially in the first half, but I think that third quarter really hurt them because they gave up 21 points. And I also put that blame on Mike McCarthy because him not protecting the defense when needed to, he was just thinking about himself and not about the team. I digress with this. Y'all go ahead.
So who wants to go first?
Yeah, I can go first. So, Earl, I know you got a little mad at me for my tweet, but we're bottom feeding. I'm right there with you. Listen, the Cowboys, I don't know what's wrong with them, man. I don't know if it's partly a coaching thing. It's partly an ownership thing. It's partly an effort thing. I mean, I haven't seen the Cowboys look this bad in years, and I just don't really know what it all stems from. I don't know. I mean,
it's reminded me of the 2019 team. It was around the time of Garrett's last season.
Yeah, and you know what? I really do think it has everything to do with the players not buying into what Jerry is selling. And, I sent you guys that article about how the players feel when, they have these tours going around Jerry World. He's trying to make this like a tourist spot. And every Dallas Cowboys fan that I speak to who is living in the area or, has been to games says that every time they go to AT&T, it's like it's not even Cowboys fans there. It's people that are visiting the area, and I think the players are feeling that culture a little bit. I think that goes into it a lot because for some reason Jerry has just this year become more, I guess, open with it. I should say, even though it's been there for a while, I just feel like there's more light being shed on it, and I really just think McCarthy has to go. I think his time is up in Dallas. The success just isn't there anymore. It's time for a change. Players are feeling it. The whole locker room's feeling it. I don't know. I don't know if Maurice or Lucas have other thoughts on that, but that's really what I feel is the biggest woe for the Cowboys right now.
I agree with you, Mal.
Well, yeah. I'll say this. We kind of saw this coming before the season started. Now, they signed that the day of their first game of the season. Then they signed, and they haven't signed Micah yet. We saw at the end of last season what this team really was. Nothing changed. Mike McCarthy was on the hot seat last year. I think Earl would agree that he should have been fired.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar to Sirianni, but not quite. But we knew that this was going to be a lost season when it comes to the coach of the Dallas Cowboys. They should have hit the reset button after last season. They didn't. They rolled back into this season with the same thing. They downgraded at the running back position. I'm just being honest here now. I'm just keeping it real. They downgraded at the running back position. They didn't add a second receiver to CD. Dak is Dak. I still think Dak is a good quarterback. Don't get me wrong. But he's not having a good season because they're just so inconsistent on both sides of the football. They're inconsistent at coaching. And, the owner only cares about the star. He doesn't care about winning. He doesn't care about all the other stuff. And Earl's talked about it many times on this podcast. This is what the Dallas Cowboys are until something changes and it starts at the top. Simply put. I have one question for you, Earl. Is this season a lost cause?
With how things are rolling, I'm going to give it till the Atlanta game. If I start to see some of the same stuff, especially from how the Ravens and the Niners, especially the Lions, yeah, it's a lost cause. I'm not a firm believer of tanking, but I also know that if your heart is not into it, yeah, the courage is busted. And for it is going to be a bad season. We really haven't even gotten into the majority of the divisional games. And those are going to be the true tests of just see how the team is mentally. Because I feel like this overhaul of top-notch boxers, we really lost a fight in most of these rounds. And depending on how they do in the later rounds, yeah, this team is cooked. But for right now, they're going to have to work through it. Maybe get some guys back off the injury report because I really believe that some of the injuries are affecting the team, especially with what Zimmer's trying to do on the defensive side of the ball. But I really believe losing Sam Williams, that hurt. It may not look like what it seems on paper, but that definitely hurt. Deron Bland, these couple of weeks into the season with his foot injury, yeah, that hurt. Diggs coming off an ACL tear. He's still trying to get his legs back. And then we lost Marshawn Nealon to a knee injury. I don't think he's out for the season, but he's still missing time. And then on top of that, DeMarcus Lawrence, he's out. He probably won't be back till week 12. So it seems like most of the guys on defense, where I saw some slight improvements with the defense, we're missing some of the stars. I really want to see how the team is with all the stars, especially when they're healthy. I saw glimpses of it in New York, even though it was like a pipe dream, but they still played together. And after that, I just think it kind of diminished from that. But Dak needs a run game, and Mike McCarthy is not agreeing with running the ball. And I'm not saying that he doesn't. They're doing running back by committee. Maybe that's not what they need. Maybe they just need to have one running back, at least do a 1-2 combo, like a Mario Luigi type thing, a Sonic and Knuckles type thing. You got guys that you can do it. Just run the ball. I think the fans are really just saying there's no faith in the run game. They're right about that, but you never know till you try. Get Dak a run game. Like, that's going to help with what's going on. It's going to protect the offense. It's definitely going to protect the defense. But if they can't figure out anything from that or get some type of a run game going with a 30 for 30, yeah, this season is cooked, bro. And yeah, it's tough. And even though the Jerry doesn't have it as a football base, it's going to be something that really just is going to happen until something changes, but it's not going to change. So they're just going to have to work through it, fight through it.
So, Earl, everybody's said everything that they need to say about the game, but as somebody that's used to being at the bottom of the division, I got one question to ask you. Are you liking Travis Hunter or that running back from Boise State more with your top first-round pick?
No doubt in my mind, Travis Hunter, he's like a dynamic player. I definitely know Dallas need another weapon at receiver. He plays corner and receiver,
He'll probably play wide receiver in the NFL, though.
Maybe, possibly, depends. See how he does in the combine. But I do like the Genty kid from Boise State. I've been watching him since last season. He's a great dynamic running back, and I think having that guy, especially with the line that we have, is some special things I can see with it, but it's just a determination factor. They burned a 4th-round pick with Trey Lance. You see how that's playing out. They could have easily used that for a receiver or a running back. And I'm looking at all these running backs in the league now, Bucky Irvin, Isaac, Garendo, and it's just
Tank Bigsby.
Well, he was already in the NFL, but these these rookie running backs are showing what they're capable of doing, especially with some of the older running backs. We got an older running back, Ezekiel Elliott. Let's see what he can do under this line. And then you got Deuce Vaughn and Rico. Now, people are trying, I'm going to say this and then I'm done. They're going to try to bolster Rico to be that top back. This man has been injury prone since high school. And you're going to try to give this man 30 touches a game. You're going to run this brother down. He's got to split carries with Ezekiel Elliott. And if you want to mix Dalvin Cook into the mix, do so. I don't think they got a plan with Deuce Vaughn. But my 2 running backs that should be getting split carries, Rico Dowdle and Ezekiel Elliott. But Mike McCarthy's not going to do it. He's lying to the fans. If he loses this game or lose another game, I could see a firing happen. But even at that point, you got to clean house of all of the McCarthy extract and completely just wash that away. Start from scratch if you need to.
No Al Harris.
I mean, Al Harris, like, it could happen, but I think he's more, I would like to see him as defensive coordinator first. So, yeah, I'm done. And speaking of being in the basement with Mal, I think we can kick the Giants out to the street. Go ahead, Mal.
Sorry, Mal. Me, Earl, and Maurice have taken up an hour of this pod already. Go ahead.
It's really not that big of a deal. I don't have much to say. I spoke my piece last week, and I stand on business with that. I told you guys I did. But let's get into the results of the game. So, Giants played on Monday Night Football last night. They lost 26-18 to the Steelers, which the Giants had every opportunity to win this game. They didn't, though. Daniel Jones, 2 costly turnovers. Safe to say his days are very numbered. Shocked he's still playing, to be honest, but whatever. I don't ask questions, and nor do I care anymore. So, bright spots of the game. Tyrone Tracy Jr., our 5th-round pick, 145 yards, a touchdown. He's looking good. I'm really happy with the pick. I'm really happy he's thriving, and I think he's going to be our long-term answer at running back. We hit on that one there. Kid's dynamic, always has an eye to score, has an eye to find the holes, and I'm just really happy we picked him there because we needed some type of bright spot. Another bright spot is Azeez Ojulari has six sacks in the 3 games that he's played. That's pretty awesome, and I think that even when Kayvon comes back, Azeez should take that spot over. He's just the better pass rusher compared to Kayvon right now, overproducing, and we just need all the help we can get. Brian Burns recorded a sack, so he's coming into his own there, but secondary had a really hard time. Second year cornerback Deonte Banks was benched for a lack of effort, which I don't disagree with Dable there, but if you're going to bench Deonte Banks for a lack of effort, maybe you should put Daniel Jones on the bench too. But I mean, Daniel Jones did try. The 2 turnovers were very costly. I mean, Deonte Banks isn't even he's not even tackling. He's not even trying to tackle. It's just embarrassing at this point, and it's just a bad look. So I don't blame Dable for benching him. Player of the game, I guess, is Greg Joseph. He scored a majority of the points. Actually, no, I'll give the player of the game to Tyrone Tracy because he was the only one who actually wanted to win last night. So I'll give him that. Darius Slayton had 108 yards, so he did pretty well, but him and Neighbors both with the drops at costly times, it's just bad. And, like, those passes that they drop are honestly not even bad passes from Daniel Jones, and we don't get much good out of Daniel Jones ever. So, got to capitalize when you can. Like I said, I don't know if the Giants will ever win another game this year because I just don't have any hope in how this team is playing. Defense doesn't show up. Offense doesn't show up. I don't know anymore. The defense was the one thing that was actually working out. I mean, they didn't play that awful. Special teams let up one of the touchdowns, so that kind of killed the momentum of the game. We were 9-9 into the third quarter until that return, so that was just ugly. Special teams is still trash, even after firing our special teams coach last year. The only real good play they had was that blocked field goal, and that was really all Isaiah Simmons in the Seahawks game. But I don't really have much to say. I told you guys last week how I felt. It's not going to change. Daniel Jones is looking not to be benched because he does just enough to stay playing. I don't understand it. I don't know if Dable is standing on business or... Honestly, I think really our quarterback room is just so bad. It's just so terribly bad that we don't really have another option at this point. But at this point, lose out. I really don't care anymore. We need a new quarterback, so the only way we'll get that is if we lose out. I don't think we will, though, because we'll win some stupid, meaningless games at the end of the season. And I personally think that every season ticket holder should sell their tickets. Even though no one's going to buy them, because who wants to spend money on that when the team is just awful? But I don't really have much else to say. Like I said, I went over everything last week, and it's the same song and dance every week. Don't know why I think it would change, but here we are.
I'm gonna say
this.
a few things.
You go ahead, Lucas. I'll go after you.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to say a few things. One, what the heck was that 2-point conversion?
Yeah.
What the heck was that?
I low key wish the Steelers would have picked it off and ran it back for a touchdown, because that's how stupid it was.
It was like the players didn't even really understand the play. They didn't even know that it was snapped, and they were looking right at him, and they didn't block a single. Like, the idea of the play, yeah, sure, it's fun. Let's try it, right? Let's try a trick play on a 2-point conversion. Why not, right? Daniel Jones would have had better luck if he just tried to run it in himself. There's that. So let's get that out of the way. Secondly, I have to ask you, has Brian Dable lost the team? Because it feels like it, because he's an offensive coach. And the defense certainly isn't the problem for you guys. It's the offense. And if I'm an offensive player, I'm wondering, why the heck am I trying to play with Daniel Jones? He just does not have it. And you won more games with Tommy DeVito than Daniel Jones last year, and I'm sure Drew Lock is probably slightly better than Tommy DeVito. So,
nah, Drew Lock is really bad.
Okay, well then Tommy DeVito. Go for Tommy DeVito then.
I mean, listen, I don't know if... it doesn't matter. Tommy DeVito is still not in a good spot either. In the end, I don't really think that the players think they have any other choice right now. And that's, like, because actually, one of the beat reporters for the Giants put out an article that they interviewed everyone in the, like, in the locker room about Daniel Jones, and they, like, most of them stuck by him, but a few were like, if Tyrod was on the team, that's different, but...
Ooh.
Yeah, so...
I think that's fair. I think if you guys had Tyrod, you would have turned to him.
It's honestly
already
annoying, too, and since the Jets are so awful right now, I really hope that, like, I am hoping in the back of my mind that, like, Tyrod Taylor is sitting on the bench in the locker room in the same stadium. Like, just get the guy back. You know we have a quarterback problem. You don't believe in Drew Lock, because if you did, you'd put him in front of Daniel Jones. I know Dable's not dumb. So
that play was dumb, but yeah, well, okay.
No, a play is different, but I know Dable knows quarterbacks, and I know he knows a good quarterback, and I know he knows a bad quarterback. So Drew Lock really must be really trash in practice, because if he would have been, Daniel Jones would have been benched already. He has that injury clause. We're done. It's over. The experiment's done. If Drew Lock was any better, or Tommy DeVito, I'm telling you, Dable would have played him. And, I wish that they would just bring Tyrod back and let him finish out the rest of the season, and then we can cut ties with Daniel Jones. But at this point, I don't even want them to.
Well, how much of a dead cap hit would Daniel Jones be if you guys cut him right now?
High. I don't know how high, but it would be. I think it's in the 20s.
That's your homework for next week.
Okay.
But no, look, and Dable, I've always thought Dable's a good head coach, but like, and here's the weird thing: like Shane has hit on a lot of things, but sticking by Daniel Jones is going to be the reason that he gets fired if he gets fired. Now it was released that your owner backs both of them heading into next season. I found that a little weird to say already, but if you believe, you believe. It's kind of hard to believe after seeing what Saquon and Xavier McKinney's doing on different teams now. Look, I think the Giants, you either tank for Shador, and I don't even know if his dad would let him come to y'all's team, if I'm being honest. Or maybe you try the trade for a guy that got benched this year, like maybe a Bryce Young, or who's the other guy that just got Anthony Richardson.
Nah, if they're going to stick behind this regime, they need to let the regime pick their own quarterback, and they can sink with their own ship if they make the wrong choice.
I guess. Anyway,
that's
any quarterbacks besides. So who's your quarterback? At this point, Mal, you got to start doing draft prep. So who are you looking at quarterback wise? Anybody?
I mean, I really haven't thought about it yet. I'm trying to take that as it comes, because in the end, like I said, the Giants are probably going to win 2 or 3 more games that put them in like the 6th or 7th pick, and it's not going to be high enough. So I have to wait and see. I will fully give up and go full on like my particular quarterback if we lose the next 3 games. If we lose the next 3 games, then
I'll help you with that one. My team will help you with that one.
Yeah, so I need to see where we are at in the next 3 games for me to determine who my quarterback of the future is. I'll just say that.
Okay, I'm going to say this real quick, and then we'll go to the next. The Giants got a really solid defense. I think with the more that they're playing, the more and more confidence they get, but it also hurts when the offense is doing what they're supposed to do to give the defense rest. I really think losing Andrew Thomas, especially your top tackle, I think that is hurting what the offense can do, especially on Daniel Jones's blind side. But even at that point, establish a run game. I think that will really help Daniel Jones, especially with him not trying to pass as much. But get the run game going. Y'all got a good running back in Tyrone Tracy, and he ripped off a 45-yard touchdown. Like, continue to build confidence in that, and I think you guys will be fine. But if y'all are looking to try to tank, I think going for that quarterback in this draft is going to be something key. There's a lot of guys. I actually think Cam Ward would be a solid fit for you guys.
I was thinking of Cam Ward, too.
And for what it stakes right now, y'all play Carolina in Germany, I think, this Sunday. I think that y'all could actually win that game.
No, we play the Commanders this Sunday.
Oh, this Sunday, but
yeah.
I guess it's the following one.
Yes.
So wait, where are y'all playing? Are y'all playing in Washington or in New York?
No, we're at MetLife.
Oh, okay. That's going to be interesting. Yeah. I think if y'all come out playing mad against those guys, I think y'all can upset the football Wizards.
Earl, there's no saving New York Giants.
No, I get it, but I'm just looking at it as a any given Sunday moment, because they can be bad, and then all of a sudden in division games they just rise to the occasion. Like,
it's not even that.
True,
it's
that
just
is true.
that, and also the fact that like they literally beat the Seahawks. And listen, the Seahawks are very wishy-washy this year, but the Seahawks are not a bad team. It's just a matter of if the Giants and Daniel Jones want to show up. It's really if Daniel Jones wants to show up. That's really
that is true. Yeah, that's true.
All right, so let's go to the mailbag this week, the NFC East mailbag, and we have one question. And this question is really pertaining to us three, me, Earl, and Mal. Not really Lucas, because there's no really coaches on the hot seat or management or ownership. So, for Mal, what is, from 0 to 100, how much confidence you have in Dable being there next year? And Joe Shane.
Dable, I have 90% confidence. Joe Shane will have to say Joe Shane will have to say the same because they're a package deal. If one's not getting fired over the other, it's either both stay or both go.
By the way, I don't believe that Mara could come out and say that he has confidence in him, but that could change.
Absolutely, it can change. I just don't foresee him firing either of them next year. I think next year will be their true hot seat year because if they change the quarterback and we don't have any success, they're both gone.
Earl, 0 to 100. How much confidence you have in Mike McCarthy being there next year, and how much confidence do you have in Jerry Jones being the owner next year?
Right now, I got Mike McCarthy about 90% being gone. I have Jerry Jones with the outcry of the fans. I got him around 45% of him stepping down as GM.
No, that's not good.
Yeah, it's not.
He's not going to sell the team.
He's not going to. I would be shocked if he sells the team, but
Somebody gives him enough money.
I'm looking in Saudi right now.
Maybe,
just maybe, but I don't think he'll step down. But if enough fans have an outcry and they start losing dollars and stuff like that, yeah, there's a thing of hashtag fire the GM Jerry. I'm on board with that. Fire him as the GM. You know who should be the GM, not your son. Yeah. Give it to Will McClay or get someone else who can be a GM. Shoot, I would throw Troy Aikman in the mix. Like that would be my pick for GM. If Will McClay doesn't work out, you could pair them together. So be it. That's what I would do if I owned the Cowboys.
All right. And for me, Nick Sirianni, I have him staying at 70% right now. Eagles look okay. I mean, that could change. It could change. It could fluctuate. But right now, 70%, Nick Sirianni will be the head coach next season. All right, so with that said, we can move on. Who's up?
I think it's my turn. I don't know if I got enough energy for this, but it's going to be, who's that football player? Chaka.
Okay, Halloween shout out. Okay.
This football player played with the Philadelphia Eagles back in the 2014 season. This player had a 64.1 completion rating of 2,418 yards with 14 touchdowns, 11 interceptions with a 55.3 QBR rating with 34 carries for 87 yards and 1 touchdown. His career awards is all rookie team. Guys and gal, who is that football player?
I can't answer this.
Nick Foles.
Earl, who do you think?
Mark Sanchez sat down, said hut, butt fumble.
Yes, that is correct.
I was stuck between those two.
Yeah, it was Mark Sanchez.
Yeah, people on social media were not fooled.
Yeah, I tried.
It's okay. You just want. It's still too early. You got to do at least 15 years.
Okay.
It's okay. It's okay though. It's okay. We're moving on.
All right.
Mal, poll questions.
Yeah, poll questions. So we have 2 this week, guys, but we'll do with the Giants first. What position is the biggest need for the Giants moving forward? And as no shock to no one, 100% people said quarterback.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then our second question was relating to the Cowboys. Will Dalvin Cook significantly improve the Dallas Cowboys running game?
No.
Yeah, no, most of the people said no.
Yeah.
All right.
And let's get to the trivia question here. Had to pull this one out of the archives here. Give me 1 second here. But I thought this was a pretty good one. I'll say this, there was a diverse group of answers on Facebook. Facebook really got engaged on this one. Shout out to you guys on Facebook. The question was, who holds the Washington Commanders / Redskins record for most receiving yards in a single season? Mal, who do you think it is?
I don't know.
Take a guess.
I'm being on the spot. In a single season?
In a single season.
I'm going to say Art Monk.
Okay, Maurice?
I'm going to go with... I'm going to go Garcon.
Earl?
Charlie Brown.
I went with the wrong... I think I know it.
Okay, so Earl actually didn't get this right. None of you guys did. It was Santana Moss.
I just thought about it.
Oh.
2005.
About it.
Santana Moss. Yeah.
Redskins history. Wow.
Yeah, Santana Moss with the most.
I remember
He had, let me pull it up real quick. He had, I gotta wait for the page to reload. He had 1,483 yards in a single season.
Wait, repeat the question again?
In a single season, he had, the question was, who holds the Washington Commanders / Redskins record for most receiving yards in a single season?
Most receiving yards, correct?
Yes. Santana Moss with 1,483. Bobby Mitchell, who played in the 1963 season, was second with 1,436, and third was Henry Elrod from the 1994 season with 1,397. Bobby Mitchell had the fourth highest one, and Art Monk had the fifth, and Pierre Garcon had the sixth. Gary Clark had the second. Charlie Brown had the 11th.
Okay, not a bad trivia, sir.
Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, moving on. Sorry, guys, we're trying to wrap things up. We don't want to go too long, but Earl, talk about our prospect of the week.
Yes, the New York Giants draft prospect I had was cornerback Prophet Brown. I can see you guys getting him in the second round. His range is around...
Second or seventh?
Seventh.
Okay.
Yep. Seventh round. He's 5'11", 190 pounds. I think you guys definitely need another corner with some speed, but also who can run in between the tackles to impact the run game, especially setting the edge. Some of the strengths that he has, he reads quarterbacks and initiate a solid break on the ball, which is something key for a corner. He has solid closing speed to generate impact tackles wherever he is on the field, he can definitely make a play. He's a physical run stopper, and I think that's something the Giants need, especially in the secondary. It just depends on who the defensive coordinator will be after this season for the Giants. His weakness, it was kind of just one weakness that I noticed from him, was that he has a tendency to give up big plays, but it's something that could be coached to help him be better. But he's definitely a late round steal for the Giants if they go with Prophet Brown from USC.
All right, fair enough. I like it.
Yep, and I think the Washington team is next week, from what I think. Is that right, Lucas?
Yes, sir, yes. So Mal's going to do our outro. Mal, talk about Week 9 matchups briefly before we head on out.
Yeah, briefly, guys. So Week 9 matchups, we have an NFC East matchup this weekend. We have the Giants versus the Commanders at MetLife Stadium. As always, Commanders and Giants always play each other hard, so I look forward to the competition. May the best team win, Lucas.
We will.
Then we have the Eagles versus the Jaguars, and we have the Cowboys versus the Falcons. Eagles play the AFC South. Cowboys play the NFC South. I think Cowboys-Falcons will be a good game. Falcons are pretty good. Jags, who knows with them? Probably an Eagles W, but we'll see.
Yeah, Doug Peterson comes back to Philly first time as a visiting coach. And I think we're wearing the Kelly Green jerseys, too.
Yes, I've seen
Very
you guys
cool.
switch to the Kelly Green logo on social, so yes.
Yeah.
On that note, Mal, how about you play us out?
Yeah, so I just want to thank everybody for listening to our podcast this week. Please make sure you give us a follow and subscription on Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Apple Music at 13 Rings NFC East Podcast. Follow us on our socials, Facebook, Twitter, also known as X, Instagram at 13 Rings at NFC East Podcast, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube at 13 Rings at NFC East Podcast. Y'all take it easy now. Have a good one.
See ya.
Peace.
Blessings.